Hey, 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 did number one, sha, sha. That is, of course, a song that is currently relevant to what everyone's currently talking about with hashtag Budget Speech 2019. Talking all things figures, billions of rands, millions of rands, trillions of rands. I wish they can just donate all of that money to me. I need it to pay my bills. That is, of course, Casper Vest, the best of the best. Titled Tito Mboweni right here on Cape Town TV. This is Ekse taking all the way up until 5 p.m. The best edutainment show in the land. Jay, but known as Ubud Fliki. So on the show namhlanje, we are talking all things Budget Speech 2019 throughout the show. Speaking of the budget speech delivered by Mr. Tito Mboweni himself, Izolo eParlamente, I must say the figures are very, very interesting. The billions, the millions, the trillions of rands, nairas, everything. I am talking about it. So, man, a lot of money will be donated. Over 30 billion rand will be, of course, donated towards building new infrastructure and, of course, building new schools around Mzansi. I'm all for education, so I'm very happy about that. And, of course, 2.8 billion in terms of schools who are underprivileged. It will go to them to improve infrastructure. Yabo. And we all know rate South Africa when it comes to unemployment is very, very, very low. So the government decided, since they are going to be the blessers of us young people, they are going to donate 1.1 billion towards the job fund, which plays a very vital role when it comes to job creation in the private sector right here in Mzansi. A lot of money. I know. If you want to become part of the show and comment what you think about the budget speech 2019, we're of course on Twitter at Ekse_live, on Facebook at Ekse, on Cape Town TV, or call us right now 021 448 hashtag budget speech 2019. So right now, moving along with the show, coming later on the show, we're joined by Uputi Alutando Chalibongo, all the way from the City of Cape Town Media Department. Please tell us more about the amazing work that they do within the City of Cape Town, with the City of Cape Town rather. And also later on, we sit down with the audience here to talk about hashtag budget speech 2019. What do they think about it? If you want to tell us what you think about it, make sure it is up right now on Twitter and of course on Facebook. But right now, let's check out what you guys are talking about on social media. Here are your trending news. Well, I must say people are talking about the budget speech. Well, I'm talking about lots of things in my life. Go on Twitter right now and, of course, on Facebook. What's coming up on Trending News? This is the part of the show where we explain to you what you guys talk about in social media. What's trending on those social media platforms, on those World Wide Web? Well, on number one on Trending News is something that has never been filled. Someone just said, I've never felt so betrayed by my own institution in my own entire life. That is, of course, Ujiba testified at the Mukhoro inquiry. While suspended deputy NPA boss Unongobo Jiba has taken the stand and told the Mukhoro inquiry she was amazed and hurt when the NPA turned the tables and charged her for doing umsebenzi wakhe. No, Ntombi, there's no such a thing. There's something wrong you did. That's why they charge you. You didn't do your job. Maybe. While on the other side, 3 men shot dead, 2 injured, and on N2 Bridge right here in Cape Town. Those are sad news. While 3 men aged 52, 34 and 31 have been killed, and 2 more men aged 44 and 30 injured near Ekse, Cape Town, in what is believed to be a minibus taxi violence related incident. Oh no, takes and I think they should be taken away from them. Well, according to Western Cape Police spokesperson Colonel Andrew Tront, the circumstances surrounding the attack of 5 occupants of a blue Toyota Corolla on Wednesday night around 9:35 p.m. on the bridge in New Way, Ekse, are being investigated right now. Want to know, so please do your job. Innocent lives are being lost right here. On the other side, Minister Tito Mboweni, the Kai, who holds all the money of Mzansi Africa, who decides what and when should go where. I think someone should come to me. While the Finance Minister Tito Mboweni says, although there are no quick fixes, South Africa is ready for a renewal. While the economic picture emerging from 2019 budget speech was not a rosy one, Finance Minister Tito Mboweni said his speech, the outlook for South Africa, had had weakened over the past couple of months, and many of the risks that were warned about in the mini budget in October had materialized. World growth is now expected to slow, constraining South Africa's export growth forecast. I hope we have more export than import so that we can have a bigger GDP, so that you can stop taxing us a lot of money, you know. And on the other side, Parliament is set to be dissolved in the new few days, only at the technical level. I like it when people are getting fired in Parliament because they're not doing their job. But on the other side, this is to avoid the risk of this year's general election results due to take place on May 8 being challenged in court. The reason for this is that the date of the elections falls within the mandate of the current Parliament, which only expires on the 20th of May. While on the other side, over 10,000 people have signed an online petition in support of South Africa's runner, Caster Semenya. Yeah, listen, Caster Semenya is getting 23 million rand from our own government. Itombo just decided, I'm man, Tata, when I go fight this battle. While some of you don't know, Caster Semenya is currently sitting before the Court of Arbitration of Sports, which is CAS in Switzerland, where she's appealing a ruling from the IAAF that would force her to lower her neutral levels of testosterone if she wants to keep competing within women. Man, I don't understand this thing, guys. Kalok, she's physically strong. She was born like this. Imagine saying, I'm born in January, so I can't compete with people who are born in October. It really doesn't make sense. While on the other side of news right here on Ekse, there's nothing more actually. If you want to engage with us right here on Ekse, to make sure you tweet us up right now on Twitter at Ekse_live, on Facebook at Ekse on Cape Town TV. What did we miss? What did we did not miss? Do you think Caster Semenya deserves 23 million rand to fight this battle? I still owe my fees. I need some of that money. I wish she doesn't use all of it. Well, hashtag budget speech is all we're talking about right here on the show. So right now, we're taking a quick breather. When we return, Uluthando Kyalibongo, all the way from the City of Cape Town Media Department, is to tell us more about the amazing work that they do with the City of Cape Town. And when we return, more to come right here on Ekse straight after this. And we are back just like that. Taking you all the way up until 5 p.m. right here on Cape Town TV. Kamlam Salo J, better known as the Putfliki. So keeping you company, talking all things hashtag budget speech. If you want to be part of the show, comment, call us, man, 021 448 0448, or go on Twitter right now at Ekse_live, on Facebook at Ekse on Cape Town TV. Do what you're going to do to make sure you are part of the show. Right about now, on the yellow couches, we're joined by Mr. Uluthando Kyalibongo, who is from the City of Cape Town Media Department. Some of you, this is the first time they've heard about that, so we're going to dwell into what do they do with the City of Cape Town. And it is part of communication at UWC as well. Butwam, welcome on the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Butfliki, and thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. You hold a very important position. Manager, City of Cape Town Media Department. And of course, you also work with UWC as well. But before we dwell into that, I want to talk about you. Gubani Uluthando Kyalibongo.
Uluthando, firstly, is a public servant, working for the people of Cape Town. I'm no longer at UWC. I'm a former spokesperson for UWC, but I'm still affiliated with UWC also as an alumni. So I grew up in Cape Town, Gugulethu to be exact, and I'm currently working for the City Media Department. And managing that particular department. So we communicate with the citizens of Cape Town. There are more than 4 million citizens, residents in Cape Town. And we also communicate with the visitors and business people of Cape Town. So there's an array of people that we speak to on behalf of the city.
So if I'm not mistaken, when someone calls and they have a problem and they want to report something to the City of Cape Town, you guys are the guys that gets back to those people.
Okay, so there's a customer relations section within the city who assists people who have different issues. So people call in, they have the option of calling in to have their problems solved. They also have the option of also WhatsApping, SMSing, and also going online to register their complaint or issue. Let's say, for example, there's a water leakage in an area. So they have various options of actually speaking to us about that and trying to resolve it. We even have access via Facebook, where one can log their call via Facebook, although we encourage logging their call using either the phone or also online on the city website.
So it's online, the city website, it's the phone call which people call you, and it's social media as well. That's a lot of work. I can imagine the administration that you guys have to go through. How long does it take for you guys to respond to those inquiries?
Okay, so it takes approximately 30 seconds to 3 minutes to respond to inquiries. In the last year, 2018, the city responded to approximately 2.5 million calls, majority calls, and also SMSs, WhatsApps, and other platforms. So it's quite a lot of interaction with the community. And also on our Facebook, we're constantly interacting with people.
So I'll guess that you have different people who handle those things. So I'm sure you have one for social media, one for phone calls, and another one for your website, I guess. So I've got an incredible audience with me right now. Someone just called in to lay a complaint. After that, after they drop the call, what's going to happen? What happens? What do you guys do?
Okay, so if someone calls in to lay a complaint on the 0860 number, they'll upload it on the system. It will be escalated to the relevant department, and the relevant department would send out people to sort out that issue. A person is also given a reference number so that if there's any gaps in terms of people coming out to solve that issue, they can always call in with that reference number to find out what's going on.
How long does that take, if I may ask? Approximately how long? Is it days, is it months, is it years? Because there are about over 1 million people living in Cape Town. So how long does it take for you guys to get back to a person who's laid a complaint?
Okay, so if there's a problem that needs to be solved, there's different departments. So electricity has its own way of working and response time. Water has its own response time. So it could be anything within a few hours or within 24 hours, depending on resources. But we try as much as possible to respond quite quickly to different things.
When it comes to ward councillors, there are people who always complain about ward councillors not being visible when it comes to the community, not being physically there to support communities, and they've laid complaints. What steps do you guys take, especially when it comes to people who we have elected?
Okay, we advise people who have issues with ward councillors to work through the Speaker's office at the City of Cape Town, and they can lay their complaints through the Speaker's office.
So that's
it will be investigated by the Speaker's office.
Okay, and now when it comes to, because City of Cape Town is one of the biggest cities in South Africa, what plan do you guys have when it comes to working with media communities such as Cape Town TV and other TV stations and radio stations that are community based?
So we've actually embarked on creating relationships with different community stations. We've already started that with a radio station. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, but it's not really a competitor. It's called Book Radio. We're trying to grow that with other radio stations. Last week I had a meeting with a station out in Khayelitsha, trying to have a similar relationship whereby we have people from the City of Cape Town going onto those stations to interact with the public and inform them of what's happening in their own communities. And also, in terms of future plans, we're planning to come also to CTV and see what relationship we can establish.
Millions of South Africans don't have cell phones, which means they can't even call you, which means they can't go to your website, which means they can't go on social media. What about those people? What are you guys doing to make sure those complaints of those people are being heard?
True. There's quite a number of people who don't have access. But according to research, there's a lot of people who have access, but some don't have access to smartphones. so they don't not able to send a WhatsApp, for example. So for those people, advise them to go to the nearest city offices where they can make a call from a city phone for free.
So that is allowed?
That is allowed.
So when you say nearest city office, what are you talking about?
So it would be your nearest municipal office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can go there and make a phone call.
And make a phone call.
Yeah.
Or in fact, you're supposed to be assisted there.
Yeah.
If they can't assist you, they will escalate it to the next office.
Wow. Yeah.
There's also other ways of getting access, whereby the city gives about 50 megabytes
free of
Wi-Fi per day.
Yeah, that is
All
amazing.
you need to do is to register.
Yeah, that is amazing. Thank you, Putwam. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, but thank you so much. If you want to know more about what Luthando is talking about, go to their website and you find more information there. But right now, the SONA took place 2 weeks ago, and let's take a look at what politicians are currently saying. Are they happy or not at all?
So we have the DA leader here, Musi Maimane, with us. Sir, what can you tell us? What is your reaction to the speech?
That was the state of no action. It's 10 years old. Half of the things the president was talking about should have been done 10 years ago. He should have already split up ESCOM. We called it that 10 years ago. He should have brought back the Scorpions. We called that 10 years ago. He should have arrested these ministers 10 years ago. Today they are running rampant. And ultimately, our economy was struggling because over the last 10 years, the NC's mismanaged the economy. So a vision for 2000 rather than a vision for 2019.
Very good and comprehensive statement of intent, but it's one of many of those statements of intents from the ANC. But at some point it got to a point for us where it became too long, a laundry list of promises. We think that the president was given a wrong theme today, because the theme outside on the billboard says following up on commitments made. He didn't come to account about what this government has done over the past 25 years. He came here to make a new laundry list of promises, which was unfortunate. But I think what we're happy about is the fact that they are beginning to take steps to try and depoliticize the National Intelligence Agency, because that was beginning to create political instability in the ANC. As you know, that the NIA got caught up in the factional battles of the ANC. The second issue is the steps that have been taken to try and reconfigure the NDBP so that it becomes more effective, it becomes more agile, and is able to prosecute people quickly. But our only problem is that so far the only people who are being brought to book are officials and not politicians themselves. We want to start seeing all the people who have bought chicken chunks with state money, all the people who have bought perfumes and expensive bags, who looted state resources, including President Zuma got, if you look at the allegations, that he got 300,000 rands a month in order to ensure that people weren't prosecuted. All of those people need to be brought to book so that we can be able to say that he's serious about the commitments he's made about two governments.
But we must understand that this Bosasa crisis and state capture has washed very, very deep into the ANC benches. And I saw a number of senior ANC leaders there looking very nervous this evening when these things were said. But again, it's going to come down to whether action is going to be taken against them, whether we'll actually see any high-profile politicians being arrested. We've had commissions before, we've got the Zondo Commission now, we've had the Sariti Commission, we've had the Farlam Commission, we've had all sorts of commissions. We never see people going to jail. It's time to put some high-profile heads on spikes, and that's how you send the message that there's a new culture of anti-corruption in South Africa. If you're not prepared to go after the guys at the top, you're not going to solve the problem of corruption in South Africa.
I doubt if he will arrest anyone, because if he's going to do what he's going to do, he's going to arrest half of the cabinet and half of the National Executive Committee. And any president who has done that in the ANC did not finish his term. He must ask Thabo Mbeki about that. So the president is likely not to finish his term.
We have an immediate crisis. We have 10 million South Africans unemployed. The majority of those are young people. The president made similar commitments last year around summits and around talk shops. We lost jobs last year. 25,000 young people between the ages of 15 and 34 lost their jobs over the course of the last year. So we need far more immediate, concrete steps about how we're going to get young people back to work in South Africa and how we're going to get the country working again.
The only thing we're not happy is that there's no clear plan on the land. There's no clear plan on the jobs. And it's a clear indication that the president does not have a plan on how to reduce unemployment, or he lacks commitment on the issue of the land, despite the fact that he just said
I'm going to support the work of Parliament. The work of Parliament requires no support of the President. With or without President's blessing, Parliament will do its own work because these are separate institutions of the state.
And we're back right here on Ekse, the best entertainment show in Mzansi. If there's any show that you've missed during the show, we are of course on YouTube, on channel YouTube on Ekse, and of course on Twitter Ekse_live, on Facebook at Ekse, on Cape Town TV, 021 448 0448. The repeat of the show is playing tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the morning, Cape Town TV. Before that, we had an incredible interview with Uluthando Kyalibong, all the way from the city of Cape Town Department of Media. Was to tell us more about the amazing work that they do with the city of Cape Town. If you want to know more about them, visit their website at the City of Cape Town Media Department. Well, we've seen now at the SONA politicians talking about what they're not happy and what they're happy about. We've seen Umalema commenting there. We've seen Abantu from other political parties telling us what they would like to hear more from the president. Now we must tell you about Isona Yaku Lunyaka. And also speaking of Isona, Premier yethu Helen Zida, but because siyamthanda sonke nontombi, while she addressed the citizens of the Western Cape for the last time. You can only have 2 terms, Mugel. We can't allow you to have the 3rd one. No. This one is the final one. Well, she addressed millions of citizens of the Western Cape, telling us more what we can expect in 2019 and in future if we still continue voting for Mbuto Wake. Well, let's take a look at what went down.
has succeeded because of its focus on sectors with high growth potential, low barriers to entry, especially for young people, and rural impact. The sectors are agri-processing, tourism, oil and gas, and the green economy. The results of this and other strategies are clear. We have South Africa's lowest unemployment rate, at a full 14 percentage points below the national average on the expanded definition. We've created 508,000 new jobs in the Western Cape since the start of the administration. Based on this week's latest official statistics compared to the 3rd quarter in 2009. It is worth mentioning, Madam Speaker, that if every province had done that, South Africa would be close to the 5 million job opportunities Jacob Zuma promised the country by 2020. This is the only province that has made its contribution towards that objective. Employment in the Western Cape grew by 24.8% between 2009 and 2018, well ahead of Gauteng at 18.6%, and KwaZulu-Natal at 8.8%.
As the ANC, that's not a point of order. We are going to vote out. the real state of the province outside this. This is a distortion of the reality that this province is facing. There are 6,000 children who are out of school.
You have said at the start of this sitting that the people in the gallery should not participate in the debate. And you have explained, but I see you allow it.
Maintain order in terms of Rule 41. Should we persist, I will move to Rule 44. So kindly manage yourself with dignity in terms of your role as a public reps. Thank you.
As Premier, for 2 terms, with a team of wonderful colleagues. I've done so under this government slogan, Better Together, which was far more than a mantra. This government and everyone in it turned that into a reality. Of course, there is always room for improvement. But we are truly better when a capable state delivers on its constitutional mandates and residents, families, communities and individuals take full responsibility for the roles they must play. We are a country with enormous potential, beauty and humanity. We also have many problems, which it will take the whole of society working together to resolve. Let us make the right choices for ourselves and our children. Let us learn the right lessons from the last decade. And remember that it fundamentally matters who we place our trust in to govern. Let us continue to choose the road less traveled and build one nation with one future for all. Thank you very much.
I could see that there is nothing improving. She continued bragging about things known only to herself and the DA that we don't see on the ground. For example, we have got 6,000 kids who are out of school.
Yes, Shongile Pausla deliverisha a state of a province address for the last time. So in the next few years, you want to see Uzila as a premier of the Western Cape. I'm giving us the promises that we're not sure if the next administration of the Western Cape is going to keep now. And we've seen politicians commenting on that as well. And apparently the ANC just walked out of parliament because they couldn't agree with anything she was saying. To make sure you become part of the conversation on our social media streets. And later on, just right now, we've got an incredible guest of young people, audience of young people, who I'm going to have a discussion with. You can also become part of that and tell us what you think about today's show, what you think about hashtag Budget Speech 2019. But right now, before we get and sit down with them, let's take a quick breather. More to come right on Ekse Masbui. The best entertainment show right here in Mzansi. Welcome to us, taking all the way up until 5 p.m. We're talking all things hashtag Budget Speech 2019. Young people are complaining about few things. I'm complaining about education. And the minister promised that 30 billion will go towards schools and, of course, building new infrastructure right here in Mzansi. So I'm much happy about that. So we're joined by incredible audience of young people who I'm going to have a discussion with. Remember, you can also become part of this amazing discussion on Twitter and on Facebook, or call us 021 448 0448. So, guys, how are you guys doing? Good. You're doing good?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Since you guys are doing good, we've seen the minister talking about the budget speech of how much he's going to allocate where. And of course, we've seen Helen Zira as well, the premier, addressing millions of the Western Cape citizens. I want to talk about the budget speech. What are some of your experiences living in Cape Town that you hoped that would be brought up during the speech as a young person? I know for me it's education. So I would have loved him to talk more about higher education rather than education in general. So I think we're going to start with you, sir, with the mic. Since you have a mic, we're going to start with you. What are some of the challenges and experiences that you experienced right here in Cape Town as a young person?
Ekse flick and ndiyava waqale ngapha but ke ezophendula mamela ke brand wenzekayo ndingathi siba singajonga iminyaka edlulileyo ne kuthe masithe education okokuqala bo basingajonga iminyaka edlulileyo yabona siyobona into bangabana kwi-rural areas okokuqala you understand akuyanga kakhulu when it comes to education in terms of isikolo facilities into zokusebenza izixhobo zokusebenza for abantwana besikolo akuyanga kakhulu. That is why from phailankeni abasebegqibile ugrade 12 wabo phailankeni Eastern Cape isida noba ukagqibi uba nenjongo bangabana ufuna unyuka uze phi kwi-urban areas apho khona kunento yonke, you understand? So ngathi bangabana if ever ngaqala kumobilize ukujonga kwa indawo ngendawo, you understand, apho khona kudinga khona uncedo, apho khona ngadingeka khona bangabana utyalwe kakhulu in terms of infrastructures and everything. Singathi bangabana into ezingahamba kakuhle kakhulu.
Amazing. Wena siswami sibonile ukuthi 1.1 billion will be donated towards the job fund, which plays a very important role when it comes to the creating jobs within the private sector. Do you think, as a young person living in South Africa, we have one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, do you think 1.1 billion will be enough to create jobs for millions of young people and middle-aged people who are unemployed?
As long as it's used, I think that's the main issue, is how the government is using these funds, if they're using them practically. And a lot of the time there's not much clarity and openness into how funds are being used and where they are going. We also dealing a lot with corruption as well. So we need transparency. I think those are, the underlying issues as well. It's the transparency, and the honesty that the government is, dealing with the rest of the public with.
I'm glad that you brought transparency, because we see them talking about billions of rands that come from our pockets, and we don't know whether they really do donate billions of rands. So how do we go about transparency? Do you want the government to say, here's 30 billion rands, and we've done this A, B, and C, and D? How do we go about the government being transparent?
I think that's what we want. And besides the government telling us what they're doing, giving us the receipts, showing the proof that, there's proof as well that this is where it went. I think that will clear a lot of misconceptions of the government as well.
To you, Bujwam, this was the last administration before the elections taking place in May. I think the 8th of May. It's last. We've seen the president delivering his speech. We've seen Mr. Tito Mboweni also delivering his speech. Before we close off this term, which is the last administration, what are you looking forward to as a young person? What changes are you looking forward to?
Mostly, I think in terms of moving forward before elections, I think we need to see more of a joy, a job. Job unemployment at some point that's the first thing. And then second thing, instead of them fighting each other as political parties, I think they should somehow try and work together by improving job and unemployment from Italalam. And then also a government should not keep on making promises about because they are fooling us whilst they are busy chowing imali. I think that's pretty much it.
I actually want to talk about that a little later on, about corruption and how can we make sure our politicians are accountable about when it comes to corruption. We've seen when Siswam, we've seen when Uzile was actually delivering a speech and some parliament members left because they don't agree with what she's saying. Do you think that's the kind of parliament we want in our next administration? That's the kind of behavior that we want as citizens?
Because they're not setting example for Tina. That's why I could caretaker in South Africa, because parliament. Order parliament. So and asking Tina like in for a crime and stuff. I call order, in fact, because they're not setting example for us.
What can government do when it comes to crime? We know unemployment is the reason why so many young South Africans actually do a crime. Siswam, what can government do to make sure there's a kid in the streets of Enyanga East who's doing grade 12 and next day they know what they're going to do? And in case for them to feed their family, they're like, okay, crime is what I'm going to do. What can government do to assist that young person in your own?
I think obvious answer is obviously employment because within South Africa, a majority abantu bethu abantu abatsha and a majority abantu bethu abaphangeli uyafunda ungaphumeli entweni. But on top of that, besides the employment, we should also get indawo yoba umuntu afunde uzivulele business and stop relying on government ba amane kunika jonge umsebenzi wendawo jonge qala wena ngokwakho ubona ungaqala ndawoni uzingenisele imali uzincedise.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. We are still going to talk, but we're going to take a quick breather right now and check out a cool music video. This is DJ Miss featuring Rubs, and this one is titled Count Your Blessings. I think maybe as South Africans, we need to go back and count our blessings, if we do have blessings, by the way. Let's take a look at this. More to come right here on Ekse straight after this. Well, that of course, DJ Me is featuring Rabs, and that one's titled Count Your Blessings. Are we counting our blessings as South Africans, or we don't even have those blessings? While getting engaged with us right now on Twitter, @Ekse_live, on Facebook, @Ekse on Cape Town TV, 021 4480 448. If you'd like to join our audience next week or next time, send us an email at ekse@capetowntv.org. You might find joining us right here in studio, #Budget Speech 2019. Right now, we're looking for solutions for urhulumente wethu, because ngathi uxakekile guys, akazazi makazithini. So as young people, we're just gonna deliver solutions. Guys, when it comes to solutions, unemployment rates for young people very, very, very high. We are like there when it comes to the world ranking, when it comes to world rankings. Siswam, do you have any solutions for urhulumente?
So what I think can be done more on that part is to give out money, because abantu abatsha, they need to be encouraged to start their own business. Like Ebechilo says, because I won't come to uzoqashwa. That's the reality, but not wonke umuntu uzoqashwa. So by opening a business, it will mean that wena uzokwazi uqasha abanye abantu. And then also iparliament yethu, I think the government needs to afake more young people, because that's why besilwa.
Because badala,
I understand, badala. How can you think about a country for the next 5 years to come, whereas when I was feel the next 5 years to come, it doesn't make any sense. We need all the people for inhlakanipho, but they need to employ more young people so that they will be able to massively. That's part of it.
Hence, we see them sleeping in parliament around 8.
It doesn't
Because
make any
badala, about diniba, fulala. When it
So,
comes, you said in savings, they need to give up more so that young people can start their own businesses, and maybe they can get educated and get better jobs. But talking about those better jobs, there are young people who are educated. There are young people who open businesses, but as tenders is money, what can we do to make sure the right people are getting the right jobs, the right people are getting the right business opportunities?
I think when it goes back to monitoring and evaluation, I think that's somehow siyalekisha when it comes to such upper we country yethu. And the mere fact that as tenders ifunyana ngabantu abayi-1 is a mega problem, because you'd find the youth, some of the youth are not getting these tenders. As tenders ifunyana ngabantu kudala bane-business ezinkulu. You understand? The person is owning a mall, this person she's running a construction company. What about the rest? I think that's the problem. So in order to Ulendoza to come up with a solution when it comes to such Lenon City, the moment we monitor and evaluate, kulapho sizawuminimize khona abantu bafumana ilendoza ezithenda.
Do you want to add some?
Just to add on to what, I think also education for abantu by businesses. You find that you can open your own business. However, you don't know the procedures. And they are the ones jumping in. So I think there's a form of education if for abantu baqala business and uyazi ba ithini indlela yo apply for ufumana itender. Ungazi ba aba bakwaziyo baqhelile bengababodwa bakwazi ufumana.
Speaking about the tender, so many people are very skeptical and critical of the tender system in South Africa. Do you think the system of tender should continue, or do you think it should just be cancelled and no more tenders so that people can just go out there and be equal?
Well, that's a very good question. I think at the moment the city of Cape Town has most control, or the government has most control on tenders. So I think to create more jobs and to decrease the unemployment rate, more tenders should be given to the young people. Because there's a lot of young people out there who just out there doing their own thing, hustling, pushing boundaries, all those things. So I think somehow something needs to change.
Somewhere, somehow things need to change. And you also touched on something, Sam. I wanted my glasses she touched on something that people need to be trained. Because now you find out that we're talking about getting back the land, getting back those farms. And then the government gives us back those farms. But for I can't even run this farm. Do you think maybe that's a trap to give you a farm that you can run so that you can sell it back to whoever got it back years ago? What can government make sure as farms that we get as black farmers, what can be done to make sure they are sustainable and they can compete when it comes to with bigger farmers and bigger retail companies?
I think it should be part of their mandate to train and to educate. We shouldn't need to wait. We shouldn't be waiting for a situation where something like that happens. That should be happening right now. And also the accessibility, to educating, especially black people. Not only with farming as well as with agriculture, as well as with entrepreneurship as well.
Yeah.
That should be very accessible. It shouldn't be a mission.
Yeah.
And it should be accredited as well.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And when it comes to the education system, what are your thoughts about it, especially higher education system? When it comes to fees, they're very expensive. Yeah.
Just to touch, before I answer that, just to touch on what she said, I think in terms of agriculture, what I've noticed is black people, they do farm. But the thing is, it's small scale farming.
Yeah.
If one second, you are farming within your boundaries, up or go endling. So the moment, and the thing is, they do have knowledge of farming. It's not a big thing. You understand? Because our people have grown up.
Yeah.
Bekhulisa amatswele, bekhulisa amakhaphetshu. So that thing is within us. So the thing is, they just need to provide a platform so that our bantu bakuthi bazokwazi ufama on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And then also touching on Lendoza education, I think especially the biggest problem currently that we are faced with is that abantu, students particularly, they don't know if the coverage on NASFAS is say the previous year and then this year, where am I standing with NASFAS?
Yeah.
I think that's the bigger thing, because we've got like the message that incoming students is varsity. They are the ones who are supposed to be applying. Whilst as fumani la information, whether when we applied NASFAS last year, what's happening with when.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue that needs to be resolved.
Yeah. We've seen President Wade saying he will donate, the government is going to donate tablets to schools. So I would like to know which one is more important, getting a tablet at school or your fees being paid? Because he never mentioned anything about free higher education and equality when it comes to education, but he was talking more about tablets.
On that question, like as you notice in the budget speech, the finance minister, he said that a lot of funds will be allocated to the education system.
Yeah.
But the question is education going to be free? When is it going to be free? So why give tablets and you don't want to make the education free?
Yeah.
You see, so I'm going to get the tablet, but I'm going to pay a lot of money for fees. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be out of school, but I'm going to get the tablet. So it just doesn't make sense.
Okay, we all wanting the education system to be free. Where do you think the money will come from? Do we even have the money to make it free?
I think we do have money. South Africa, I think it has money. We have a lot of people that has a lot of businesses of which tax is being paid out. So giving out tablets, I don't think it will help us. But of course, young people need to be tech savvy and whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help us when it comes to fees and stuff. I should think that they need to build, especially when it comes to township high schools and stuff, they need to build labs so that when young people, they finish with high school, they at least know how to do science experiments and whatever. So that a person, when they want to get out of high school to do a certain career, it's going to be easy for them. Because I tell you, at grade 10, a person doesn't know when they're choosing their subjects.
Yeah, that's going to help them.
Exactly.
Yeah, which
so
is
I
a
think
big issue.
they need to change a few things there so that they can be able to educate young people.
Well, guys, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Go out there and change South Africa. That is, of course, our audience. If you want to be part of it, join us next week, same time, same place, right here, Cape Town TV. Well, my biggest issue is that in the Western Cape, there's not even a single township that has a university campus. Think about that. Right now, we're going to go, and we're going to be back next week, same time, same place, Cape Town TV. For myself, Sinalo J, the rest of the team, I'm out of here. Thank you so much. Bye.